There's a growing sense in Australia of relief at the limited spread of coronavirus here and authorities slowly starting to ease restrictions. But the threat remains with another death in Sydney overnight and the lessons from overseas where infection rates have eased in some countries and then shot up again. So here are today's key developments in our coronavirus coverage. So New South Wales will ease gathering restrictions from Friday after more positive news with just 5 new confirmed cases this morning. However, a 7th resident has died at a Western Sydney aged care home, becoming the 84th coronavirus death in Australia and the 37th in New South Wales. There are now more than 3 million cases worldwide, with the latest million detected in just the past 2 weeks. Nearly a third of those are in the United States, which is approaching the 1 million case mark. New Zealand has begun scaling back some restrictions which are among the toughest in the world. The Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern says the country has stopped community transmission, effectively eliminating the virus. Russia has overtaken China in confirmed cases, with a tally climbing above 87,000. There have been less than 800 deaths recorded in Russia, and there's pressure to lift a lockdown that's due to expire on Thursday. In Australia, the government will spend $95 million to support zoos, wildlife parks and aquariums. The money will come from a $1 billion fund aimed at helping industries most affected by COVID-19. And Sydney's Bondi Beach has reopened this morning for surfing and swimming more than a month after it was closed because crowds of people breached restrictions. So let's take a closer look at some of the main elements of our coronavirus coverage today. So the death of another resident in Western Sydney's Newmarch Anglicare nursing home has taken Australia's death toll from coronavirus to 84. Reporter Lily Mayers joins us now from Sydney. So Lily, what can you tell us about this latest recorded death in New South Wales and also new cases?
Good morning, Joe. Well, an 89-year-old woman at the Newmarch Anglicare aged care home in Western Sydney died overnight after contracting COVID-19. The health department says she didn't have any other underlying health conditions, and Anglicare Sydney have put out a statement this morning saying her family has been notified of her death. It is the 7th at that aged care home where we know a cluster exists after a staff member worked around 6 shifts with mild symptoms. Her death is the 37th in New South Wales and the 84th nationally, as you said. New South Wales has recorded just 5 new cases in the 24 hours prior to 8 p.m. last night, and that was with over 4,000 tests done.
And Lily, how are the restrictions being eased that's been announced this morning as well in New South Wales?
That's right. The Premier says from May the 1st, 2 adults can visit a separate household. So that does include children. That the 2 adults can take children with them to a separate household, but 2 adults maximum. The Premier has urged people over 70 to be particularly cautious with the new relaxed restrictions. She says it's the first relaxation and it's only thanks to the low number of new cases that the state has recorded. Here's a little of what she had to say.
2 adults will be able to go and visit anybody else in their home on the basis of care, on the basis of reducing socialisation and everybody's mental health. We know that for many people they've been cooped up in their homes for a number of weeks, and with the exception of exercising medical needs or buying what they need to or going to work, many people have been isolated in their homes. So please know that from Friday, 2 adults can go and visit anyone else, and I've used the word adults to say that obviously if you've got young children it's okay to take them with you.
That was the New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian talking about the gathering restrictions which will be relaxed from Friday.
Okay, Lily Mayers reporting there from Sydney. And new research shows just how much of an impact the coronavirus is having on students. It reveals almost half stand to be adversely affected by the shift to remote learning. Political reporter Dan Conifer joins us now from Parliament House in Canberra. Dan, g'day. So what has this research found?
Well, Joe, some researchers were surprised because initially they started looking at students from disadvantaged backgrounds and the impact that the coronavirus shutdowns and school shutdowns were going to have on their learning. But then they realised that more and more kids were falling into that category as their parents had their hours reduced or parents were stood down and things just became harder at home. And as you mentioned there, up to half of students they're estimating will be adversely affected by the shutdown of schools. Now, of course, that relates to the educational outcomes that for these kids, but also their nutrition, their emotional well-being, and also their physical activity. While another report in this set of reports that were commissioned for the federal government has found that Indigenous students, as well as students from a low socioeconomic background, are likely, for at least the first term, likely to lose about 3.5 weeks worth of learning, while students from a language background other than English, they're likely to lose about 2 weeks worth of learning. So about 20% of learning time lost in that first term of these shutdowns. Now, Dan Tehan, the Federal Education Minister, wants all students and teachers back in classrooms across the country by the end of May and says that getting kids back learning at school is a key priority for the government.
We want to ensure that no student falls behind as a result of this pandemic. And what this research is showing is the best way we can do that is getting students connected back to the classroom.
The federal government is throwing a lifeline to zoos and aquariums struggling because of the shutdowns. The pandemic has forced many wildlife parks to close with the resulting loss of revenue from visitor fees. The government will provide $95 million to help cover operating costs and keep organisations afloat. Sydney's Bondi Beach has reopened this morning for surfing and swimming more than a month after it was closed when thousands flocked there. Reporter Jessie Dorset joins us now from Sydney. Jessie, g'day. What's it been like down there this morning?
G'day, Joe. It's not the best weather for the beach, but to the locals who have come down, it doesn't matter. There have been about 600 people through the gates. They're being funnelled onto the beach through this tape. And then there's rangers meeting them at the bottom, asking them to leave their possessions. They're now littered all over the sand as people then make their way into the water. This is the swimming end at Bondi Beach. There are about 50 people here at the moment, 600 in total, because I think most people are having a quick dip and then leaving through another dedicated exit. At the other end are the surfers. If the council has its way, all of these people will just be locals though. It says other people aren't welcome because Waverley remains a COVID hotspot. But for those that could enjoy Bondi this morning, they were certainly happy about it.
It feels great.
Do you think everyone's going to follow the rules?
I hope so. Keep the locals only, I think. Makes it easier that way, I guess.
Yeah, so far, first morning, but I think they're doing a good job of policing it, making sure that everyone gets in, gets out.
I think everyone's just so grateful to be back in the water that they're going to make sure to do the right thing.
It was so good, it was so nice. The water's actually really warm at the moment, yeah. It's amazing that it's open again.
Ecstatic. I can't believe there's no one on the beach and I still can't find my towel. Unbelievable, but it's good to be back.
And Jessie, how are they enforcing this locals rule? Are they kind of checking IDs as they walk down the ramp towards the sand?
No, they're not, Joe. So I guess the council is relying on goodwill at this stage. Certainly most people that we've been speaking to say that they live around Bondi, but certainly there's no enforcement of that this morning.
And so what are the other beaches around there that are open as well? You've got Tamarama and Bronte to the south?
Yeah, Bronte to the south, it's a similar setup to Bondi, so people can swim at one end and then surf at the other. And then Tamarama, Joe, I know you're disappointed about this. You can't swim there yet. It's just surfers at the moment.
And no beach volleyball?
No beach volleyball, no sandcastles, no sunbaking. Not that you'd want to do that today. It's not the best weather for the beach. It's pretty overcast. I imagine the water's pretty cold. I'll also just mention further south as well in Sydney's eastern suburbs, Joe, the Randwick Council has also loosened some of its restrictions, including at Clovelly and Coogee and Maroubra beaches. They had been limited to just 3 hours in the morning because a lot of people were crowding the beaches when Sydney had that beautiful weather the last few days. So they had said no, exercise only from 6 till 9. But from today, they're also opening up the beach from 7 till 5 in the afternoon. But the thing at that council is they're allowing people to run on the sand, but not here at Bondi. It's strictly water exercise only.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, Jesse Dorset reporting there from North Bondi. Yeah, so more encouraging news there. Great to see those beaches open and people able to use them once again, obviously abiding by those rules in relation to social distance, and they're only doing exercise at the moment. So just adding to this sense of growing relief at the moment, but there's been that another death overnight, and so there's still a lot of caution about how Australia is going to emerge from this. But yeah, growing optimism about the position of Australia at the moment. Now, thousands of New Zealanders will return to work today as some of the toughest coronavirus restrictions in the world are eased. The move comes as the country declares it has stopped community transmission and effectively eliminated the virus. As of today, businesses that can operate with social distancing in place are allowed to have their employees back at work, but shops and restaurants remain closed. US President Donald Trump says COVID-19 cases are declining or stabilising across America. His comments come as virus cases pass 3 million worldwide, almost 1 million of those in the US. President Trump says all parts of the country are in good shape and that Americans want to get back to work.
We continue to see encouraging signs of progress. Cases in New York area, New Orleans, Detroit, Boston, and Houston are declining. Denver, Seattle, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Nashville, Indianapolis, and St. Louis are all stable and declining. All parts of the country are either in good shape, getting better, in all cases getting better, and we're seeing very little that we're going to look at as a superseding hotspot. Things are moving along. Really a horrible situation that we've been confronted with, but they're moving along. As we express our gratitude for these hard-fought gains, however, we continue to mourn with thousands of families across the country whose loved ones have been stolen from us by the invisible enemy. We grieve by their side as one family, this great American family, and we do grieve. We also stand in solidarity with the thousands of Americans who are ill and waging a brave fight against the virus. We're doing everything in our power to heal the sick and to gradually reopen our nation and to safely get our people back to work. They want to get back to work, and they want to get back to work soon. There's a hunger for getting our country back, and it's happening faster than people would think. Ensuring the health of our economy is vital to ensuring the health of our nation. These goals work in tandem. They work side by side.
Russia has overtaken China in confirmed COVID-19 cases with 87,000. Despite its increasing infections, pressure is building to ease restrictions in Russia. President Vladimir Putin has not revealed whether Russia's lockdown, which has been in place since late March, will be lifted. It's due to expire on Thursday. Thousands of workers have been laid off, and many companies have warned that they risk going bankrupt if the lockdown continues. Among all the tragic stories about coronavirus, there are tales of hope and survival. Jason O'Brien was a patient in the Western New South Wales local health district, where he made such an impression on medical staff that they put together this story.
I'm just grateful that these people here, my blue angels and the doctors, they put my life back, give me my life back. There's no words I can express myself to how wonderful. This is the best hospital in the world, and the best people in the world, the best medical staff in the world. We've got it all. And I'm the proof. I'm the miracle man. They made me the miracle man. Thank you very much. Unbelievable.
Way to go, Jason.
I don't know much because I was in and out and I was here, I was there, I was everywhere. Well, basically, stay home, enjoy life. It doesn't mean, you're a leper. I mean, you can still go out and do your little shopping, do your this and that, but do it within reason.